There was a period in the history of the Catholic Church known as the Pornocracy, or Reign of the Harlots, a time when the papacy was influenced by powerful Roman women, and the pontiffs themselves broke their vows of celibacy. This scandalous era spanned 60 years, commencing with the reign of Pope Sergius III in 904 and concluding with the death of John XII in 963. The Pornocracy era began with the election of Pope Sergius III, whose path to the papal throne was stained by the blood of his predecessors. The chronicler Eugenius Vulgarius documented that Sergius III ordered the strangulation of two rivals, Pope Leo V and anti-Pope Christopher, in prison. However, the most notorious scandal was his affair with the young Marozia, the daughter of his patron Theophylact I. Liutprand of Cremona wrote that Sergius III filled the papal court with mistresses and illegitimate children, transforming the papal palace into a den of thieves. From this liaison with Marozia, the future Pope John XI was born, marking the first time in papal history that a pontiff was born from another pope's illicit relationship. The true rulers of the city were mother and daughter, Theodora the Elder and Marozia, whom contemporaries referred to as Harlots. Theodora, bestowed with the title Senatrissa, was, according to chroniclers, the mistress of Pope John XII, whom she helped ascend to the papacy. Her daughter, Marozia, surpassed her mother in the art of intrigue. She was successively married to Margrave Albrechtfern of Spoleto, Duke Guido of Tuscany, and even attempted to become the wife of King Hugh of Provence of Italy. When her first husband passed away, she blamed Pope John X for his death, organized a rebellion, and ordered the pontiff to be strangled in prison. Chroniclers of that era vividly depicted the customs of the papal court. Liutprand writes about the countless noble courtesans who openly resided in the Lateran Palace. Pope John XII, the grandson of Marozia, was particularly renowned for his amorous escapades. According to contemporaries, he transformed the papal palace into a brothel, entertaining numerous mistresses, including married women. His orgies were so scandalous that ordinary Romans filed a formal complaint with Emperor Otto I, detailing all his transgressions. The uniqueness of this period lies in the emergence of a veritable dynasty of popes related by blood through illicit connections. John XI was the son of Pope Sergius III and Marozia, and his nephew John XII became pope at the age of 18. Some historians assert that John XII was seduced by his own grandmother, Marozia, before he reached puberty. While this accusation may be an exaggeration by his critics, it is evident that he led a highly promiscuous life. The end of John XII's reign was as scandalous as his entire life. According to one account, he died of an apoplectic stroke during a tryst with a married woman. Another version claims he was murdered by the enraged husband of one of his mistresses, who caught the Pope in bed with his wife. Church chronicles of the time describe his death as divine retribution for his sinful life. The Pornocracy era gave birth to numerous legends, the most famous being the story of Pope John. It is believed that the actual power women held over the papacy in the 10th century inspired this legend. Additionally, this period sparked the creation of many folk satirical songs and poems about lecherous popes and their mistresses, which were sung on the streets of medieval Rome. The era of the Vatican Pornocracy in church history represented a time of unparalleled moral decline for the papacy. Significantly, this dark period became a rallying point for future church reformers who demanded strict adherence to celibacy. Some Catholic theologians later used this shameful era as evidence of the Church's divine protection. If it could endure such a decline, it must be safeguarded by a higher power. The Vatican Pornocracy, a term coined by 19th century historian Ferdinand Gregorovius, refers to a period in the history of the Catholic Church when the papacy was influenced by powerful women, particularly the influential Roman families of the era. This era, lasting from the mid-9th to the mid-10th century, is characterized by the rise of influential women who held significant power over the popes and the church. The roots of the pornocracy can be traced back to the late 9th century, when the Carolingian Empire was in decline and the papacy was struggling to maintain its authority. The power vacuum created by the weakening of these institutions allowed for the emergence of powerful families in Rome, who sought to exert their influence over the church. One of the most prominent families during this time was the Theophylact family, headed by Theophylact I, who held the title of Consul and Senator of Rome. Theophylact of Bern's wife, Theodora, and their daughter, Marozia, played significant roles in shaping the pornocracy. Theodora, often referred to as Theodora the Elder, was a formidable woman who held considerable influence over the church. She was known for her beauty, intelligence, and political acumen. According to the chronicler Liutprand of Cremona, Theodora was the mistress of Pope John VIII, and she used her relationship with him to gain power and influence within the church. Marozia, Theodora's daughter, was even more influential than her mother. She was known for her beauty and her ability to manipulate and control the popes. Marozia was married multiple times, each time to powerful men who could further her ambitions. Her first husband was Albrecht I, Margrave of Spoleto, a powerful military leader. After his death, she married Guido, Duke of Tuscany, and later sought to marry King Hugh of Italy. Marozia's influence over the popes was such that she was able to have her son, John XI, elected as pope in 931, despite him being the son of Pope Sergius III, with whom Marozia had an affair. This marked the first time in papal history that a pope's son became pope, and it set a precedent for the pornocracy era. The pornocracy had a profound impact on the papacy, as it marked a period of significant decline in the moral authority of the church. The popes during this era were often seen as puppets of the powerful women who controlled them, and their behavior was frequently scandalous and immoral. The most notorious pope of this era was John XII, who was elected at the age of 18 and was known for his debauchery and immoral behavior. He was accused of turning the papal palace into a brothel, engaging in orgies, and having affairs with married women. His behavior was so scandalous that the people of Rome filed a formal complaint with Emperor Otto I, detailing his transgressions. The pornocracy era came to an end in the mid-10th century with the rise of Otto I, King of Germany and Italy, and later Holy Roman Emperor. Otto I sought to restore the authority of the Church and put an end to the influence of the powerful families. In 963, Otto I convened a synod in Rome, where he had John XII deposed and replaced with a new pope, Leo VIII. This marked the beginning of the end for the pornocracy, as Otto I's actions signaled a shift in power dynamics, and the era of powerful women controlling the papacy came to a close. The Vatican Pornocracy is a significant period in church history, as it highlights the complex relationship between the church and secular power. It demonstrates how the decline of the Carolingian Empire and the power vacuum it created allowed for the rise of influential families who sought to control the church for their own benefit. This era also underscores the importance of moral authority within the church. The decline in moral standards during the pornocracy era led to widespread criticism and ultimately contributed to the rise of church reformers who advocated for stricter adherence to celibacy and other moral principles. Furthermore, the Vatican Pornocracy serves as a reminder of the resilience of the Catholic Church. Despite the scandals and moral decline during this period, the Church survived and eventually underwent reforms, demonstrating its ability to adapt and evolve in the face of adversity. In conclusion, the Vatican Pornocracy, or the Reign of the Harlots, was a unique and controversial period in church history. It was marked by the rise of powerful women who held sway over the popes, leading to a decline in the moral authority of the Church. The era's legacy includes the emergence of church reformers, a renewed emphasis on celibacy, and a deeper understanding of the Church's resilience and ability to navigate challenging times.